email address. It's fast, safe, and easy. Flow, keeping you connected.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful Thursday afternoon to you, everyone. It is the 23rd of May 2024, and this is The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside our technical operator, Jaquan. We once again apologize for the late start to our program. I think this is about the latest or the three lates we've had to apologize for this week. 3 days, one after the other, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We've had to start late because The Real Issues is scheduled to begin sometime after our midday television news on NBC. And they had some technical problems which really created difficulty for them. In fact, it looks like one of those days for NBC because we didn't have the Zafenu program this morning since NBC went off the air due to some problem of a power surge, electrical surge, I think, that created some malfunction in our equipment. And when it rains, it pours. I'm told that the power surge problem was compounded by the fact that our backup generator, for some reason, did not kick in. So like I said, it's just one of those days where things don't seem to be going great. But what I've done this week, and I hope that it will work again today, is give you as much time on the program to express yourself, to say your bit, to open the phone lines early. Perhaps that's what is prodding me to do, to say, hey, you don't have time for preamble, okay? Give the people the precedence. Give the people the time early, those who support us and who listen to us all the time. You often hear me when I'm on something, I stick with it. And that is the kind of advice that I gave to Brother Anson Maxwell a day or two ago when he called and he said he wanted to know, when you want to get a message across, what are some of the best things, the best practices, the effective things to do? And I think I remember telling him persistence, and that means repetition, that means reinforcement, that means sticking with it, persevering. And the other thing is example. If you think you have examples in your own life, in your own experience that you can share, that will inspire people, that will serve as a pattern, as a model, as a template for them, that will help them along, because as the Bible itself says, there really is nothing new under the sun, Whatever we see is usually a variation of something that has happened before, something that, has been experienced somewhere in history by someone else. Even in ancient times, they are the lessons that we can take and apply. Or if we can hold up to them the example of other people that we know of, who we can say, hey, this person, just look at how he's done it, what he's done. And for a person to be a good example, it doesn't mean that they have to be a perfect 10. We have this thing where if ever somebody is held up as an example, we feel like it is such a duty bordering on obsession that we must find some fault, some mépris that we can throw at them, something that we can come up with to say, this person did this, how many years ago they were passing and they stuck out their hand without asking this elderly person and they took their plums, this kind of thing what we must always do. I'm not asking for us to shield or hide anybody. I'm just saying that for somebody To be a good example, to be a role model, they don't have to be perfect. It may be that in a particular area they have shown some failings, they have shown some weaknesses, but in other areas which are relevant and for consideration, that they are worthy of being emulated and being looked up to. There are no perfect people in this world. Nobody whatsoever. And I think somebody sent me that quotation. There is none righteous. No, not one. Everybody has in something or the other, in some way, gone astray. Everybody has some fault. Everybody has some reproach. Everybody has, we may want to call it skeleton in the closet. I don't really know that sounds, that sounds like the extreme side of thing. But somebody does not need to be perfect for them to be worthy of being called a role model, looked up to as an example, somebody we can pattern ourselves upon, somebody we can draw from their experiences and their life story. Now, coming back to what I was saying, that I often stick with something like, it's almost, for want of a better word, an obsession of mine, whether it's the garbage problem, whether it is this or that or the other. From time to time, you hear me go into town on it and I won't leave it alone. Well, that's the principle that I operate by. The principle of continuously, not just the one shot, come and just fire, scatter shot at this and leave it and forget it. We have to stick with certain things. We have to keep them, hold them. We have to hold people's feet to the fire on it. And the sad thing with our society is that there are those who make us believe that the only people that we must hold to account, that we must hold their feet to the fire, are the politicians. And I'm not saying no. Whenever you bring up those things, people believe that you're advocating for you to go soft on politicians. The point I have been making, if you haven't gotten it yet, is that politicians are not the only problem that we have or that we face in the society, in the country, in the community, and in our life. It's very easy to make politicians the scapegoats and the whipping boys for everything that is wrong with us. The point I've been making is that we must rise also to the acknowledgement and acceptance of responsibility. Broad responsibility, collective responsibility, personal responsibility, individual responsibility. We have to do that. We cannot conveniently shirk and forego our own responsibilities as people, as individuals, because we have politicians there to blame. It's like politicians are the punching bags, as I said, the whipping boys of culpability. The politicians can come and set up solid waste management authority and garbage collection that we pay not a dime for. And if they say they want to collect, what was it some years ago, they had environmental levy, people have problem with that, and they put out the garbage receptacles and they build them for us. But for us to just go and to drop the garbage in it, Satwapuno, we want to drop it all over the place, we want to do everything. And when the whole country looks like one big pigsty, pak cochon, like we used to have before. And it wasn't a real pak cochon, it was pak zodi, but at that time people didn't care. They dropped their pigs, the pigs going, bulldozing the dumping ground, open dumping ground. We have now properly built, scientifically designed and constructed landfills where the bottoms are lined and everything. And after some years they come and they fill them up and you have the big mound like you have at Cicero. If anybody don't tell you that used to be a major, massive landfill, you won't know, because it was all done according to science and technological principles and so on, to control the decay and the leaching from it that might have polluted, the cul-de-sac bay and so on, beyond no fish would even want to come there and so on, because it would be a deadly zone for them. We can't continue. It's always a politician, it's always the government, it's always everybody. Yes, blame them when you have to, but take your responsibility as a citizen. That's the point I'm making. But when I see improvements in things, I talk about them too, You heard me one time, I used to talk about people who crazily just crossing the road anywhere, anytime, anyhow, the jaywalking problem. I saw an improvement in it after some time. I don't know if we're not going back at it again and so on, Sometimes I wonder, the thinking of it, you crossing the Jeremy Street, Pena Street junction and so on, and as soon as you think people coming from both sides, from by the market, and by the Printree. And now the problem with it is that when they decide to cross in front of you, you're still in the intersection, or the vehicle in front of you keeps you in the intersection there. So you're blocking traffic. You're at risk of somebody hitting you because you thought you could get there, but people just crossing there, at any time. Authorities need to look at those things and decide what you need to do to control pedestrian. It's not vehicular traffic. You need to control pedestrian traffic. People want to cross the road too low from across where I normally talk about Skinner's Chicken Van being to go across to where the Printree is, where they've built the new booths and that sort of thing. And they're forcing you to stay in the intersection, which is causing even more traffic backup. Now, maybe what we need to do is to create some pedestrian control, pedestrian flow control and so on. How they call these things, that you create this little barrier so that people have to make a turn and get a turnstile or something like that. I think it's called a turnstile or something like that. Maybe not exactly that. But we need to look at those things and all the time see how we can improve, because you certainly don't want the vehicle knocking a pedestrian, but you don't want the absolute snarl up that is being caused. But let me say why I decided to talk about this particular matter. In the last few days, I think, and I don't want to talk, people have warned me about this. When you see improvements, they'll come and talk about it, because as soon as you talk about it, the killing starts again. I mean, it's kind of half joking, right? But I don't know if then people think we're okay, and the way they were holding themselves, they start to become complacent and let loose. But the show of biker thing you heard me ranting about all the time, in the last couple of days, I've seen a little improvement, I don't see so many incidents now. That's just me, based on where I am at the time. You still see a few of them doing it, They would not pass when it is clear, but when two lines of traffic, that's when they have to come and squeeze their way through, and the aggressive honking of their horn, like, give me room. Sometimes there's no room. In Leclerc, in certain places, at certain times of the day, you have people packed on the street. So that's already, part of the street lost to you. Two lines of vehicle trying to squeeze themselves through the remaining space, while at the same time being careful of pedestrians, another portion of road again where a lot of it, there's no, sidewalk and so on. So people practically have to be walking on the edge of the road. You have to be managing, 2 lanes of traffic or 2 lines of traffic in the space that is designed for one. Watch out for, and a guy is coming and you see him, now the way they come, the aggression and the roaring of the thing. What you going to do? What you going to do? The pedestrian there, whatever. But the fellas insist they have to come through. But I'm noticing in the last few days, I don't seem to observe so much of it. It's happening, but not everywhere you pass. Like those guys think it's a thing for them to be seen, noticed and so on. If I'm right, and if it is something based upon what I've been calling for the police to do more traffic stops and pull in more of them, because you're doing this kind of thing, do you have a license to begin with? Is your vehicle registered? Do you have insurance? And if that is one of the reasons why it is happening, I don't know. Bravo to the police. I really don't think lawbreakers ever stop in any great quantity. Maybe one person might have that little, that little flash of conscience and whatever it is, and repentance and so on. But generally they don't. Lawbreakers, criminals, deviants, nonconformists, anti-socially bent people and so on, is only when you nab them, only when you cap them, only when you stop them, only when you intercept them, interdict them, whatever it is that you do, that you are going to get some change of deterrence in them. They are going to stop on their own. They're having fun. And the very nature of these people, these anti-social people, criminal people, who don't care for the rules, no matter what the rules are for, is their own gratification. It feels good to me, so what the hell? Why not do it? Why not race down Labrie Street at 100 miles an hour, and I don't care, who's in front, just get out of my way. I'm having, it's a rush. It's giving me a rush. But I notice in the last couple of days, and that's too quick, to say that anything, but I notice I'm observing less of it. There could be other reasons for it, but if it is something that has to do with law enforcement deterrence, confronting them, police don't let up. Continue to do it. Continue to do it and don't stop. I know there's a lot on your plate. There's a lot of things you have to manage. Lately we've noticed something good in another area, but I won't talk about that. Let it be, let it be what it is. But police, don't let up. There's a lot. It takes a lot out of you. You have to put out a lot. And that is why I'm sure many people become disturbed. Richard Frederick highlighted it on his program last week, he and Albert Frages, about a certain police officer calling another local talk show and to call for people in authority, prime minister and members of cabinet, to be dragged to the square, whatever, and so on, and to be flogged. Another call for flogging. Haven't we heard it before? Alan Shastney calling for people to be flogged. But at least Alan Shastney is of the stock, from the lineage, racially and ethnically speaking, of European, descent and so on, and maybe the white people who have their lineage, they try to throw that on Kenny Anthony, so they shouldn't be vexed. The Jean Blanc kind of looking thing. But a black policeman, an inspector, who I understand is probably on pre-retirement leave, who belongs to a family that has produced a lot of police, people and so on, calling for our elected leaders to be publicly flogged and so on. And I'm wondering what's going on in the police force. Why is there that kind of impunity that people who are police officers can come out publicly and make those kinds of pronouncements that are offensive, that to me are things that really are unbecoming of police, that really ought to be against police regulations, the way some of them flaunt their politics. I'm not saying police officers don't have political opinions and so on, but you're a police officer. The moment you get involved in certain things and so on, and then you have to go and arrest somebody or do something, right away you have muddied your own waters. You have muddied the waters. There's no way people won't say that the reason you bust this person for not wearing his seatbelt is because of politics. But why is it being tolerated so much? Why is it being tolerated so much? I mean, there's so many examples. I've called them. A retired police officer who was still in the police reserve, a reserve inspector going out publicly campaigning with his yellow shirt and getting into a confrontation with other police because, of restricted entry into parts of Viewfort during the escalated crime period and so on, where we had RSS, and getting into a spat with them over an area he wants to go that he knows he's prohibited from entering and so on, and creating a whole lot of noise about it, if not by his home in front of St. Jude Hospital. And, you wonder what happened. What happened there? Chairman or president, whatever, of Police Welfare Association going out and commenting on investigation into sexual harassment allegations against a superior that, the mere fact that it's of a sexual nature, you should be very guarded about those things, and so many other things that seem to have political overtones. And some people have told me, I don't know how true it is, that the reason there are some policemen who are so vehemently opposed to and doing their level best to undermine Ronald Phillip, the deputy commissioner, is that they are desperate for him not to become commissioner. And the person told me why he didn't want him to become commissioner, because they believe the kind of person that he is and what he stands for, the very things that they're doing, which apparently are being tolerated now, that Ronald Phillip would never put up for it. That's what somebody told me. I don't know if it's true. And they don't want him to become, because they know it's possible that their days might be numbered, days of active duty. Maybe they might be transferred to a desk job or something. Maybe there are some people who know that. I don't know. But Madam Commissioner, these things that have been going on, if not with Mr. Bastien, the inspector, this police inspector who I'm told is on pre-retirement leave, so he knows, his sunset is approaching. It doesn't matter. He doesn't give a damn. Now he can talk and whatever. Although I think disciplinary action still can be taken, because he is still, pre-retirement leave. That's not retirement. You're there. You're still there. Bastien was retired already, but he was part of the police reserve and so on, a reserve inspector. Cameron Law has to understand that even if he is chairman or president of Police Welfare Association, he's still a police officer. He's still subject to police regulations and so on. And the Police Welfare Association, there are very specific things that fall within its purview. Always have a thing about the impacts report and the effect it's having on police officers. And are these police welfare matters? If something is part of a disciplinary process that is in train and so on, What aspects of it are legitimate welfare matters that you're out commenting on it and so on? You don't really know what it is. You're on TV programs and this sort of thing. Or the other one, Sergeant Gustavo, I have to say, seems to have simmered down quite a bit. You know? What is this thing about police being overtly political? Folks, if it was Alan Chasney who was Prime Minister, if it was Flambeau that was in power, do you believe those guys would have been doing that kind of thing? Going and call publicly, openly on talk show for Prime Minister and so on to be publicly flogged? Do you believe those fellas would have done that? I don't know if we have an equivalent here, in St. Lucia, but in Antigua there is an expression which goes like, monkey know who monkey does jump up for try and make afraid. Monkey know who monkey just jump up for try and make afraid. Makakra sav ki mouni ka sote an le, ozav, we fay sote puis sa fe moun na pe. I sav mouni pa sa fe yepi. So it seems like in St. Lucia we have some cops who know who they're jumping up to try and make afraid. They're not doing it with the others. I know if Flambeau was there and they tried between Guy Joseph, Alan Chasney, those people, they would have dealt with them. Guy Mayers, those people, they would not put up with that at all. Albert Fredges got into a spat with a commissioner, a white British commissioner who was not supposed to be commissioner. The matter was disposed of in court. They felt that Albert Fredges, that they did not want him to even be the MC. The MC at a police awards ceremony, and they told, Osbert Redis was commissioner at the time, who they persecuted quite a lot as well. That if Albert Fredis has to be the MC, they're walking out, they're not participating. These are the kind of thing they had. The fellas right down to who's MC in a show, or ceremony and awards thing. They were determined that they will stamp their will, on this, that you're not doing this unless that, if it's that person and so on. These people who going on talk show to call, to go, a couple months ago in Emancipation, a policeman who was served in the force come in and call for the public flogging of Philip J. Pierre and cabinet members and so on, and that person still in the force. Madam Commissioner, I appeal both to you as someone I respect, a professional, and as someone who's been a friend since childhood and so on, that I know well, and I have nothing but goodwill towards you, not the ounce of malice, but I think you need to be a lot more firm and robust, Commissioner Cressida Descartes-Pelios. I know you're not a vindictive person, and you're a gentle soul, and you're a godly person and Christian, and you try to cut people slack wherever you can. But Madam Commissioner, I believe the reason why, I don't know, but I believe one of the reasons why the government and Police Service Commission and Public Service Commission, whoever is responsible, that they chose you to be commissioner. Practically on your way out, one, they did not want to upset anything in terms of being seen to be taking any vindictive, victimizing action against your predecessor, Middleton Daisy. But at the end, the twilight of your career in the police force, if that officer who's on pre-retirement leave can feel he has nothing to lose, maybe they had in mind that at that point in time that perhaps we have a commissioner who will do what needs to be done because she's not walking on eggshells at that stage. Her future, her retirement, her pension, everything is secure. So that if there is anybody that needs to be held by the scruff of the neck and given a shake-up, that you would be the best person to do it. And even after that, after you had retired, they re-engage you as commissioner. You ain't got nothing to lose again. Of course, we do expect, and I know you are someone, you will insist on operating strictly within the four corners of the law. Nobody's saying you'll break the law and take action against people because to hell with that, my pension. No, that's not where I'm coming from. I'm just saying that right now it ain't a case where you have any fear about your retirement, whether you will be retired at less than favorable conditions. You retired as commissioner of police. You retired at the very top level as commissioner of police. And you are re-engaged on contract post-retirement. If there's anybody who's secure, if there's anybody who's going to feel sure of where they are and so on, and who will do what needs to be done without fear of whether people will vex with me, because, it's a weakness with us. We don't want people to be vexed with us. Nou pe moun fache ek nou. No pe mun hai no. Because later on, you never know what might happen. This is the person you might need and you might lean on. But you're in a secure place more than anybody can be secure where policing is concerned. You retired as commissioner at the very top. You re-engage as commissioner post-retirement on a contract and so on. You occupy a secure place there, and any wobble or shake or anything pertaining to your pension, your benefits, your retirement, you're in a position where we can say, like the MC Hammer song, can't touch this. Can't touch you. So I believe you need, Madam Commissioner, if that is the problem, I don't know, to be more assertive. Those fellas who think they can come and behave this kind of way, what they are doing is that they are contaminating the efforts and good work of so many other wonderfully performing police officers, that while they're out there spilling their guts, putting themselves in danger to fight crime, you have fellas who are like Pinez, you have fellas who are like absolute, subversives and so on, getting involved in all kind of things about who need to, come on. How long and how often will this kind of thing keep going on? It is tarnishing the image of the police force. It is giving the impression that the police force has some kind of little nest of politically, political agents and so on who might be undermining the overall work of the force. Madam Commissioner, you are the best person to do it. And what the person told me about Ronald Phillip, if he comes in, a lot of them know that Ronald Phillip will not put up for it. They should not wait for Ronald Phillip to become commissioner. You now are a person who has the strength of experience and knowledge and who has the strength of being secure. That you are the alpha of this pack. That you are fully in charge. And this is a good time to be commissioner for you because you have a prime minister who does not interfere in the operational nitty-gritty and day-to-day running of the police force. He leaves it to people like yourself and those whom you delegate within the structure, the command structure, to run the force. So don't let anybody, believe. Maybe they're deliberately testing to see how strong you are, what your will is, how much will and determination you have to put. Maybe that's what they're doing. Show them. Show them. And not for a moment put up with this foolishness. It has gone on for too long. And the reason it is reaching that stage is because they believe that they can get away with it. Just before we talking about people who believe they can get away with things, there's a little video clip. I think Bird Boss sent it to me. Thank you very much, Bird Boss. About some guy in the entrepot area with a bolt cutter. And it's done in the week because there's no movement in the street of any other person walking or vehicle. Of a guy burglarizing, what I'm told is a small shop, so cutting the padlocks and whatever with a bolt cutter. Getting in, from what's being circulated, or Bird Boss's little summary, the person got nothing than a few coins that would have amounted to less than $50 and some ice cream that they took. All of that kind of effort. The things that people do. But camera caught them, but another one showed up, so it looked like it was coordinated. But both of them were wearing masks. I don't know if they can be identified. At the point I'm making, when those things happen, you see the comments. People put all kinds of comments about what they should do them, what they should shoot them if they get them, and or they should do an obia on them so that they walk in town naked. This kind of thing we always into. Let me tell you something. If you can deter crime without using lethal force and deadly force and killing people, whatever, I'm more for that. Except if the person is threatening the life of law enforcement and other people and so on. And for this thing that putting down people. But from everything I've observed and noticed, there is nothing that a criminal fears more than being caught. You see all this thing about the shooting and about the castration and about, branding them with a hot iron and doing them that and the hard labor and squeezing their grains and, this kind of thing. These things, you can't do them. They come after. You have to catch them first. You have to successfully prosecute them. You have to convict them. You have to incarcerate them. We need to be doing more of that. Let's stop focusing upon, PJ Gwenny and fait qu'on dès qu'elle travaille li avec mettre un zinzin lay and burn some candles and this kind of thing. Let's deal with what's in front of us. What is in front of us is the need to catch them to begin with. Whatever comes afterwards, if it involves, squeezing the balls and all this kind of thing, it's going to come afterwards, but we have to catch them first. And that is what we must commit ourselves to, helping our society through the duly appointed and trained and commissioned people, law enforcement to deal with, is to catch those people. Let us do whatever we can without putting ourselves in undue danger to see to it that those people are caught. The real issues, we take a break. We'll be back shortly.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Issues on this Thursday, the 23rd of May. We have a call on the line. Good afternoon. Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. We're hearing you.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead.
But I better hear you, you know.
That's because it's so long since
I hear you for your phone.
That's because it's so long since you called us that you can't find your way around here anymore. You know?
Let me keep around. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you all the time. It's you not hearing me.
Well, boy. Anyway, I'll talk because I can hear you. Uncle Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Listen, now I saw a video clip to me. I think yesterday afternoon or late. Right now it's raining in town. I don't think the rain drops falling on my head there. I want the authorities to put a brick on that happening town.
As the young people throwing stones.
You hear me now?
As the young people throwing stones?
That's still 6 and 7 little boys very fully town.
Yeah.
That has to be stopped out once and for all. You can't tell me on Social Road an afternoon time or anything. Children have cut that little boy, selling bottles, selling stones. People come on difficult, they can't pass. What do you do? Tell me.
Yeah, right in the open like that, you know.
Right in Halifax, on Social Road?
Yep.
Tell me you're right. Something is right in that place.
And to me, in the time that those video clips were taken, because several of them were taken, to me, in the time that they would have taken, by the time all of them ran, police, you should have started seeing police vehicles and police in uniform, whatever, appearing there. That's my feeling.
Okay, and I feel right now, so that you know, okay, with Hollywood cameras on it.
The what?
Okay, wood. Hollywood cameras on it.
It has video cameras.
Yes, good cameras.
Yeah.
Who made them cameras? Where they supposed to be manned?
I don't know. To me, that's one of the earliest places that they installed the CCTV.
Right. Nobody saw that happening around town there. Nobody saw it.
If I what?
Little boys play this foot fast. What?
Yeah.
Something like I thought I was getting.
Yeah.
I think like they're going mad.
It's like they have confidence that nobody can or will take them on, you know.
Hey, no. So then I'm calling the authorities. I'm calling on for like Winston. I'm calling on Madam Pedro's just cut using the authorities to put a bit in a little belt that she may going around on this. And I'm so.
Yeah.
Where I know it's 7 at school. Not 7 little boys playing fool. No. That must be a thing on the path, and that must stop once and for all. Okay, boss?
All right.
Right.
Thank you very much. It will be interesting to find out what was the cause of that confrontation. You know, out in the street, in the open, you can see it, chaussee, you can see the area of the pharmacy and all of that there, that this is where the fellas are, you know, like you said, who have cutlass, charging, bluff chargings, and in stones, then retreating, then going, and this thing went on, based upon what I'm seeing on the videos that are circulating, this thing went on for several minutes, you know. How can something like that be happening, and for you to at least not hear sirens blaring as police reach that, you know, race for that area and so on, you know, pulling a couple of them and so on. I don't know, when these things happen, they feel emboldened, they feel entitled, they feel like, you know, they have a right to do this thing again, and it usually does not stop. I don't know what the situation was, but that was what came to my mind, you know. How come in the video I'm not hearing at least one siren indicating that some police vehicle is rushing to the area? We have a call on the line. Hello?
Shelton,
Hi.
good afternoon.
How are you doing?
What do you mean what's the cause of that confrontation?
What's that?
What do you mean what's the cause of that confrontation?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's the same thing as it always is, nothing.
The same thing what?
As it always is, has been nothing.
Nothing. Just like
A
that.
bunch of little boys from New Village, a bunch of little boys from Graveyard, they want to strut their stuff. For what? For what? Do they have a reason?
I mean, it's just for fun.
There's something that you might say that there's a trend of sort that may seem controversial, but then within those communities, they have the so-called bad boys and leaders in those communities. In the older days, you think these little boys would be misbehaving, like even though there are criminal elements of a higher level among them, you think these little boys would be misbehaving like that in the middle of the city? The same older ones within the community would have a conscience, a sense of community, and they would not allow that thing to happen, that kind of disrespect, you know, that misbehavior. That's nonsense, Shelton. And I'm sure the police know who they are, and the police will do what they have to do, but this is nonsense. Little boys, teenagers, cutlasses and bottles in the middle of the city traffic has to stop, Shelton?
Yeah, they don't care who's seeing them, whatever. It's like they're out in the open and we doing our thing and we own that street, you know. Chelsea Road belongs to us, you know.
There is no reason for that to be happening, and it has to stop. And, you know, but the thing is, the way that, you know, society and, you know, our morals, our ethics have devolved so much. Little boys now will go kill somebody at someone's behest for a few $100 for a pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
You know, so these are the kind of things that we have to address. The whys, which is why we always say the fight against crime is not a short-term thing, a now for now and an immediate reaction. The police's job is, of course, to react and to investigate. But then we have to go back to the grassroots, go back to the deeper thing, the social issues that create that type of environment, allow that type of behavior to thrive. You know, Shelton, so, you know, when we go at the politicians, and again, we go back to somebody, their own doing, will say that they can solve crime, they can stop some other person, their predecessor was not able to do it, but they can and they will. You know, these kind of utterances are what creates the dependency from our own citizens, those who can actually make a difference. They say that's the government's job, that's the police's job, because when you have these types of utterances, that you know, that philosophy that is the police's job. It's not. It's our job. It's all of our job. By the way we raise our children.
But Miguel, let me ask you something as one who may have insight into this and the way young people think and so on. Why would a young woman come and put out a video clip or be in a video clip circulated?
Sorry, you're breaking up.
I was saying, why would a young woman, it's usually young men involved in those things, but we saw a video clip circulating of a young woman with a firearm, you know, in her hand, which looked real to me, pointing it at her head, and everybody can see her face and all of that. In other words, if you're doing your little kicks off, whatever, if your boyfriend's gone or whatever it is, why would you have it circulating all over, basically like you're announcing yourself?
Shelton, in this social media age, it's all about the fame. Look at Ja Morant. You've heard of Ja Morant?
No, not really.
He's an NBA superstar.
Okay.
With the Memphis Grizzlies. The man is a multi-million, you know, a multi-millionaire, right? Yet still he goes on social media, causing himself to be suspended. The boy is a superstar, I tell you, Sheldon. The man has endorsements with Nike. His shoes just came out with all other companies. Yet he's on social media, he's in the club, he's brandishing a gun, you know, brandishing a firearm and that kind of thing. So the NBA stood up, he had way too many chances. You know, he had way too many, so they suspended him indefinitely. You know, and he's been back now. But then that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of age that we live in now. And Ja is probably, 22 years old, Shelton?
So
social media has,
so this young lady you were saying has absolutely no concern about whether she's picked up by police or anything like that?
Nah, man, it's all about the fame and to look, whichever their demographic is, the group that they want to appeal to, is to look good. You know, I see no value, I see nothing appealing in brandishing a firearm. You know, and
the sad thing is, the few times when we have had females do this kind of thing, the outcome has been bad. I don't know if you remember, there was a young lady who was in a video with a firearm, And then she ended up being the only fatality in a vehicle she was traveling on with companions.
Yes.
Shot right at the top of the Mount Old Victoria Road, but somehow they managed to make it down to Marchand, to the Boulevard, Marchand Boulevard, you know, in that area and so on. You know, they managed to come down there and she died. You know, she was fatally shot. And the only one, we remember another incident of messing with firearms. 2 sisters, was it at Fuasho area?
Yes.
And one ended up, it seems, accidentally shooting, you know, the other and so on, you know.
Shelton is the generation. I'll tell you this. In my almost 10 years in the news, especially in the latter half of that latter half, when social media was a thing for everybody now, when there were murders, there were many homicides that we went to cover and everything, and you know, the victim is identified, you write your news report, you continue your research, you look for that, you try to look for a picture of that person online. You go to social media, especially Facebook in particular, 99.9% of the time, and what are their pictures? They either have a firearm as their picture, or them brandishing a firearm, or them holding up some kind of gang sign or that kind of thing. There's nothing good. So, you know, the social media tells their life.
Yeah, sad, but you anyway, like you say,
it's sad. But then, like I said, before I go, is just to reiterate, I think again the fight against crime, all types of crime, it has to go back to our socialization. It has to go back to the roots and the causes. And we really, we had a crime symposium years ago, and the Prime Minister himself was not even there. This man who said that he would do some that Kenny couldn't, but he would. You know, he wasn't even there. He was off island. You know, so that in itself should tell you that the seriousness in which certain authorities take the crime situation.
Yes.
Anyway, Shelton, to your viewers and listeners, have a good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks. Same to you. All right, we'll take a couple more calls before we go for our final commercial break. So 724-7325, that's the number to dial. 724-7325. You can WhatsApp call us on that number, area code 758, it goes without saying. And you can also reach us on 4533911, our studio direct landline number. You know, people, so many things happening in our country. They may not directly involve us. We may not be anything that we can bring our influence to bear on it and so on. But whatever we can do, let us do it in our own little microcosm and so on, to prevent the proliferation and the expansion and the worsening of problems that we have. Our problems are not bigger or worse than you get anywhere else in the world, people. But sometimes a little problem, a little issue, something that we can kill, something that we can quell, something that we can basically, you know, just erase that thing immediately and stamp it out. We allow it to mushroom into something much bigger than it need to be. We are a small country. We have examples all around us of countries where things were allowed to spiral out of control. And as I remember, the late Sir John Compton using that phrase, it becomes almost impossible to get the zombie back into the box, you know, once it is out. Now, thank you very much to the person who sent me, I think it's Jermaine Preville, who sent me a message telling me that the equivalent phrase of what I was saying, I heard the Antiguan saying, is that lizard know which tree it climbs, you know. Zadoli sav ki pied bois ikamuti. All right, so that's a good one, and I think it's about equivalent to monkey know who monkey does jump up for try and make afraid, you know. Yeah. Let me see if I have some more. There are some comments on the Real Issues WhatsApp group. No, not so much there. We have others who were sending us. There were some good messages yesterday, but because of the shortened time, I didn't have time to read them. Let me see if I can get to some of them. In Alan Chastney's criticisms of the Halls of Justice project and its cost and all of that, someone asked the question, how is the Halls of Justice going to cost taxpayers US $61 million when the project is 100% financed by Themis? All right. Further, his project cost is an estimate guaranteeing cost overruns. He's not saying the judiciary refused to share the same space with police. And Alan Shasta is making this thing that the police headquarters would form part of the Halls of Justice compound or complex or building, whatever. And that was, and I too, when I heard about that, about police headquarters being part of the court and the court registry and all of that, I don't think that's a good idea. You want separation of powers, you also want to have separation of premises. Because sooner or later there's going to be that kind of encroachment and that kind of intermixing, and a judge who passed by and a policeman did not greet her or did not answer her greeting or did not salute her, and unnecessarily flare-ups and tensions, will come up, that will just essentially just basically foul up everything. Sometimes keeping people in certain clusters and so on is not a wise thing. They don't really belong there. There was a time where we used to have our police and our fire people housed in the same building and complex. Even that we've separated. Police are police and so on. Maybe you can bring the Royal Police with the Ports Police in the same thing, but firemen and police, they don't even put them in the same space anymore. You want a place where judges and magistrates and registry of the High Court will be in the same building as police headquarters. To me, you're asking for trouble. So I agree with this person who posted this message. Let's take a break, Jaquan, and when we come back, we'll take more calls and messages here.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Live streaming has become one of the best ways to connect the funeral of a loved one with friends and family, both local and international. NBC Television will live stream your funerals on television and Facebook at a reasonable rate. With our state-of-the-art equipment, you can be assured that the quality of your funeral will be to your satisfaction. Call our office now and book your obituary and streaming with us. 758-453-7458.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
You're listening to The Real Issues on this Thursday, the 23rd of May 2024. And of course, not forgetting that tonight, 8:30 on NBC Television, simulcasting, of course, on Real FM Radio, 91.3 North, 91.5 South, we'll be having Can I Help You with Richard Frederick, accompanied by Albert Fridges. And I'm sure Richard will have a lot to say of interesting, informative stuff that you don't want to miss. 8:30 tonight, NBC Television, Real FM Radio. Can I Help You with Richard Frederick? We have a call on the line. Hi, good afternoon, Real Issues. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sheldon.
Hey, forward la, no tamatan.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Après papa bon Dieu, forward la.
Yeah, Jaquan, is there a problem with
Yes,
my mic?
yes, forward la, comment you là?
Oui, moi là ti bon même. Maka tanu.
Pas trop fort, mais on dit bon Dieu merci.
Okay.
Oui. Because je vais changer, Mr. Sheldon, comme on toujours dit. Alors, il y a 63 years of age. Les salaires, tu as payé, moi, découvert, moi, dans sa vanne. Moi, quand je dis ça, et bien, il y a 63 years of age. Moi, ça va, bon Dieu, papa. Blessing et merci, on se qui pour moi. Moi, dans sa vanne, quand vous les morts animaux, pas qu'à parler, fourmis de racines manger, moi. Mais papa, bon Dieu, bon, tellement, c'est nous qui pas bon. Il pas, fourmis, pas me faire langue, moi, ex-vieux, moi. On transite qui démarque, love me, qui est passé. Vieille trop dans la moun dans sa vanne, dans le soleil chaud, qu'on a. Là, il débattait tout le monde, il vient garder moi, il y a un petit pour moi. Pourtant, moi, j'ai mis 2 semaines à coucher un petit maman. Moi, j'ai acheté l'oignon, comme dit, moi, tombé. Et moi, ça, oui, merci Dieu, papa, moi, survive. Once I was lost, but now I am found. Amazing grace. And my grace will lead me home. Mr. Sheldon Daniel, I love my life, the way I act. The way I am. God will do the rest for me. So what I'm telling you, tout le monde qui attend voir forward là, some sector arrivé forward in 63 years ago. Moi déjà manque ma vie ressuscité. Merci Dieu, merci la Vierge. Love me, transit la démarche, love me. Et qui tue moi ça pendant. Morts animaux ou là dans le soleil chaud qu'on a.
Oui.
So si la pluie est venue, il n'y a pas de cas où la de cas bleu, mais je blatte sec pour actuellement. All right, Mr. Sheldon Daniel, love you. Everybody, love everybody, no hate.
Love you too, forward là.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Merci un peu forward là pour appel ça au ban aujourd'hui. All right, we continue taking your calls. WhatsApp call us on 724-7325 and on 4533911. Folks, have we talked about it on this program? How Alan Chastney seems to have dug himself into some legal, hot water with Invader's song. He must have thought it was a gift to him because I saw he was using it on his page, man, to show all his accomplishments, and that is why they're singing Alan do this and Alan do that, because this is what he did. He did this, he did that, and he had plans to do that, and so many things, taking credit for them. Well, it looks like Invader, represented by Dr. Kenny Anthony's law firm, Anthony and Antoine, has written to Mr. Chastney telling him, he needs to set things right and he needs to pay some money as well. We have a call on the line. Good afternoon, Real Issues.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
How do you do?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, Shelton. Something about the glass is throwing me off a kind of way. So I close my eyes.
Something about what?
Screen. Huh?
Something about what?
The glasses.
Nobody ain't talking about that today. You have between. Nobody ain't mentioning anything.
They get a custom. Well, yesterday I didn't mention it. I forgot to. So today I'm talking about it.
So today you have to make up.
Me, I like to hit and run. I'm a hitter and a runner.
Okay.
Shelton, one of the things that I don't understand is why is it that policemen, listen, we live in a democracy. You have a right to your political opinion, your political association, your political affiliation. Okay? That's your right. Nobody can take that from you. However, when I see policemen on Facebook publicly, openly, emboldenedly attacking people for their political opinions, I ask myself, but Lord, what is going on here? And they would shamelessly make statements about these people should be flogged and these people should be done this and these people should be done that and that should happen and that should happen. And Shelton, I question, why is it that these people have not been hauled before some committee, what you call it, the word evades me now. I don't know what is going on with my vocabulary. Listen, Shelton, that is why I don't listen to these people, because they're beginning to impact my vocabulary. But Shelton,
the Calypso season will rekindle that. Don't worry.
Oh, the Calypso season.
Yeah, when you put some lyrics together, okay?
No, I need to get a certain mister to write a song for me so that I can stand and sing and that kind of thing. Or I need to learn how to get up and walk out when a certain Calypsonian is singing. You understand? From since time immemorial, that very person has written calypsos about Dr. Kennedy Anthony, but that night he could not take a little picon, But going back to the policemen, something has to be done because these people are openly political. And I know, like you said in your preamble, that this is unheard of. This is unheard of, unacceptable behavior. Had it been any other person, they would have been disciplined already. They would have been called into account. And nowadays, Shelton, if a policeman stops me for whatever reason, I would question why he's stopping me. I mean, I don't go afoul of the law, but then, you just don't know anymore. Everything is so partisan, political in this country these days. That to openly attack the former acting commissioner of police and now silence. You think if I am raped, Shelton, right, that you are the one who have to go and make a report for me, or you are the one who have to intervene on my behalf? I cannot do it on my behalf, but you all over the place asking for justice for me. There are those circumstances when that is required. But hello, and up to now, nothing. Silence.
Now, you ain't going yet before you deal with another topic, as a Calypsonian. You have to give me your views on a certain letter. I only have a piece of it, I think the page 2 of it, where a lawyer that you know well, as you know Alan Chastney well, as you know the Calypsonian involved well. A lawyer has written to Alan Chastney telling him that they want for their client, the Calypsonian invader Ignatius Thyssen, damages in the sum of $50,000 for infringement of his property rights in copyright and other related rights. 2, removal from your Facebook page and that of the United Workers' Party, the post of our client's song. 3, delivery of all infringing articles within 30 days of the date of this letter. Failure to adhere to this request or to enter discussions with a view to an amicable settlement within 30 days will result in legal action for infringement of copyright, infringement of other related rights, and substantial damages. We look forward to your response so as to resolve this matter amicably. Yours sincerely, Anthony and Antoine Poe, Kennedy Anthony, Principal, Carbon copied, Mr. Ignatius Tissin. It looks like somebody who thought that Invader had handed him a gift with that song about, Alan do this, Alan do that, even Shelton, and so on. So
remember Shelton, I called about that song.
Yes.
When Bernard was having issues with it, right?
Yes.
It is. You have to understand what is being said in a calypso before you jump to conclusions about it. Now, a man who does not understand our culture will just take the song and run with it. However, when I hear people say that, in fact, there's a supposed paralegal on Facebook that says that until and unless the song is registered by Echo, the man have no rights to say nothing. But it's his song. He sang it. It's his voice. It's his personality. It's him. It's his image. It's his property. Registered or not, you register with Echo to get paid. You understand? But as long as you sing in the song, nobody wrote to the man, conferred with the man to use his property.
Right. So basically, the point I wanted to run by you is this: this song may well turn out to be a trap, a honey trap for Alan Chasney, because he thought it's a piece of siwo miel. They give him there's something nice and sweet that he can take and use to his advantage. And look, now he getting lawyer's letter already about it.
Okay, all right. So let me tell you, if you don't understand English, my G, you can't spell, steps. You think it's a calypso, you go understand. You understand?
Yeah.
So he now has made this, and they're making the song popular. But let's see how that unfolds. More importantly, you think Dr. Kennedy Anthony would just stick to, because he likes Papa Vida, he'll just take what Papa Vida say and run and write a letter because he writing a letter to Alan Chasney? No, you have to get the man's express permission to use what is his to push your agenda.
Very true.
And he did not do that. He thought it was a song promoting him. Goban, lana mania pou famun ko ka di about you exibasa o ka fe pièce. Bon, Timodu, Saturday is coming. South Calypso Tent is launching, and if Chasney wants to hear more calypsos, he should take a trip down to the National Cultural Center. South Calypso Tent is going to be there, and what? Minel is back, guys. Oui. Shelton, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.
You as well. All right, thank you very much for that. We still have time for a couple of calls. I've been offered to go into extra time, but I'm a little doubtful as to whether that will be necessary today. Sometimes, like I told you, an old friend, senior colleague back in the day in radio used to tell me, always leave people wanting more, always leave them longing for more. So I'm sticking with that and so on, regardless of whether we started late. Maybe we should really end it on time. 724-7325. Timai, where are you today? I'm not hearing from you today. So, you decided to take the day off. You don't do that without my permission, Timai. That might be her calling. If it is coincidence that it's her. Good afternoon, The Real Issues.
Yes, I'm off from.
All right, Dako.
I heard you say about the halls of justice. That Alan was about to build a hall of justice. I mean, I have been following the politics and sorry, I'm just passing by a little jazz there. Let me hurry up so you know that. You could clarify who was going to build that hall of justice for Alan?
I think
I know he was the demolition man. He was just mashing up things without having anything to replace it with.
Alan Kwazi.
Yeah, demolition man. Spider-Man, Superman, demolition man. So where was he building that hall of justice? Who had the contract? Where were the designs? What is the financing for that?
Yes.
Where? How?
I'm looking
this guy is just saying anything. What has happened to these guys? Shelton is this. I think they have been spooked. They realize that Philip JP hasn't come to play. And Philip doesn't talk. He doesn't talk much, He works. Action. And he will not tell you something if he is not sure about what he's doing. So everything is in place. I mean, for me, the Hall of Justice that NH is about to build at their expense, basically, no charge to the taxpayer, no debt to the treasury or to the nation, and the rent that we are paying for the 7 courthouses all over the place, which will be going towards that. I mean, it's a win-win situation. So these guys have realized that there is nothing to it. It's a win-win situation for St. Lucia. So they are trying to count and say they were going to build. Alan is the greatest I was going to do prime minister in the history of the Caribbean.
Yes. And Dominic is a good deputy to him, eh?
A good deputy.
We had plans.
I was going to do.
Yes.
I was
take
going to do.
We
were going to do. I was going to build.
The
greatest I was going to do prime minister in the history of the Caribbean. So I want to know where was the financing for that Hall of Justice he says he's going to build? You know, where were the design, the drawings? I know they paid $42 million for architectural drawings for the box there, which is
no, it's not architectural drawings. It's architectural works. Remember something?
Precisely, architectural works, which up to now I cannot understand that. That's $42 million or 24. I don't want to be short.
St. Jude Hospital had a huge bill, man, for architectural works.
Architectural works. So these designs that he's putting about and he's putting a cost into it. I mean, there's all pie in the sky, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to do. You were going to do nothing. You built nothing. All you did was demolish, break down, and nothing to replace it with. And now, because you realize that you crap or smoke your pipe, you try to come forward and say, I was going to do.
Yeah.
Well, you are the greatest I was going to do prime minister in the history of... stay where you are. We don't need you. All right? So let us go with what we have. We know what we have, and we're going to support Philip JP and his cabinet as we move forward to making progress in the country. Okay, my brother?
Of course. Thank you.
All right.
You know, Tekai. You know, there's a resort somewhere down on Story side, of course. They call Tekai, the Tekai Resort. Well, this one is not Tekai, you know, it's Tekai. You know, Tekai politics. I would have done it, but I was about to do it. I was going to do it. I had plans to do it. Toujours Tekai. It's easy, you know, to come and to show renderings and drawings than to say it would have cost 30 million. But this thing of that is cost, well, the 61 million or whatever you say, the Halls of Justice project, because that Halls of Justice project is tangible reality. It's something that it's not renderings. It's easy to do any kind of rendering and put any kind of cost. You might have said it will cost $30, but what did you do? Did you lay a single stone or block or turn any sod whatever to actually do it? It's always a take eye. What was it again down Anster when you talk to Dominic Fede? They had plans of some facility they were going to build, and the plans were advanced for building the facility and everything like that. Is always, as the last caller said, a take eye. You know, a few weeks ago, the SLP administration held a groundbreaking ceremony for the Halls of Justice, which will now cost taxpayers $61 million. It is important to note that this revised project under the SLP does not include the police headquarters. I mean, police headquarters. You know, your courthouse is your courthouse. Your police thing, you don't put it... I mean, I grew up in Denver and I knew for a long time the courthouse was in the community center building. It was opposite from the police station. The police station, you know, was on the other side of the road on High Street in Denver, facing the sea, and so on. They didn't have police and thing in the same building. You know, they didn't have it. The post office was below, where they used to hold court and whatever it was. You want to come now and talking about a combined halls of justice together with police, everything is a kind of a galmacha. A galmacha that's going on here. Like somebody who has no idea, who doesn't know what they're doing. And you got the feeling that Mr. Shastny does not even consult with the people who are his colleagues in the cabinet and so on, because he is obsessed. He has that need. He has that hunger inside of him to always show that he's smarter than everybody else. So as a result, he doesn't seem like he run anything by anybody. It must come from him so he can show that it was his original brilliance, you know, that devised this thing, that conceptualized it and so on. You know, you do those things and a lot of people would have told you up front, this is a no-brainer. Don't do it. At least back in the days of John Compton, people knew that when Compton came and spoke, it's because he had spoken with what's the man's name? Leonard Auger. It's because he had spoken with when they were still thinking Pat Brown or somebody like that, that he'd gotten the ideas and it sifted and filtered through it and so on. And then when he came to speak from an informed perspective. He came to speak, from a man who had consulted with the experts and had thrashed out things and asked them questions. At the end of the day, he took responsibility. But his pronouncements were based upon, expertise that he consulted with. What you have now is a man who wants to come and show you that he is the fount and repository of all knowledge and so on. And as a result, always some foolishness and so on. Halls of justice, So there's something tangible. Tangible steps are being taken for these halls of justice. Not a take-eye and we had plans, and all the while you wasting and squandering money all the time and so on. Where you'll ever get money to do anything? When your aim is always to come and to impress people. Philip JP and people like him, they will go overseas and they will meet some big shot, whatever, some foreign leader and so on, and they will beg them if they have to and plead with them, and grovel if they have to get something. You, on the other hand, is always to show them how successful you are. How the country, the little island under my leadership is so successful, that you can invite them to come over and you'll finance their setting up. The foreign direct investment becomes foreign direct, funneling of our money to people to pay them to come and set up shop here, as opposed to they bringing their own money to inject in our economy. You offering to finance them because you want to show how, you are so successful. That is not a problem. It's no big deal. Of course it's not a problem. Of course it's no big deal. Because it's not your money. It's the people's money you're taking and you're wasting to go on trips that cost £2,000 sterling a night. £2,000, $8,000 plus dollars, $8,500 a night for you to stay at a hotel, in the United Kingdom, on the business of the people of St. Lucia on their backs, putting that kind of bill on them. If it was your own money, you're doing this kind of thing. You always want to impress the Michelle Pages of Florida Caribbean Cruise, this and the Don Lockabys and the Heppels and so on. You want to impress them that, look, things are doing so well, under your stewardship, under your hand, that you can just throw money, offer them, promise them things and just pay it out. Give people 7 million of our money to go shopping for vaccines because all of a sudden the PAHO and OECS pharmaceutical procurement, they're not enough. They're not good enough. Nothing St. Lucian is good for you. Your friends at Ernst & Young, which used to be headed by your known friend, what's his name? Ryan, what's his name? What's the name of this guy, I forgot his second name. He used to work at the Bank of St. Lucia, managed the Bank of St. Lucia International. The guy was once the country head of Ernst & Young. So you want to impress these people that, it's no big deal, a few million, you give them to do the budget, which public servants were doing all the time. They were doing, it was never a problem. The venerable John Compton had faith in them, to let them prepare the budget, but suddenly, because Ernst & Young probably have more white faces in it for them to come and do our budget for us. How do you do? Take our money to show off how successful you are and how effective you are and how brilliant you are, that, you can afford to throw this money. Yeah, you can, because it's the people's money. And maybe Papa wanted you in the politics so that you can stay away from his business and so on and don't bankrupt him. But the sad thing is that they preserve their money from you, but they unleash you on the people's money, on St. Lucian's money. And that's how you'd have brought us absolutely down to the dirt. But thank God, the people opened their eyes and an opportunity presented itself on July 26, 2021, and they decided that they've had enough. It looks very unlikely that they will ever go down that road again. But, in things, we must never take anything for granted or take any chances. Jaguan, I think that'll do it for us for the real issues for today. The late start, whether we like to admit it or not, but it does throw things off a bit. We are in a very competitive period of the day where talk shows are concerned, where audience attention and focus is and so on. So, when those things happen, we just have to consider it is what it is, that those things do happen, come back the next day, and, do it all over again, to restart, to recalibrate and so on. The real issues. Appreciate your company. Shelton Daniel, signing out.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.